Hello YouTubers and Bionicle fans, it's me again, Kalo135 doing Bionicle 2008 set review 4. And now as you can see I'm doing Makuta Kirox. Before I begin this review, I do have one thing I really want to point out to everyone. Now then, as you can tell, his name might be spelled Chirox, but in actuality it's Kirox. Now you're wondering why. First off, the H in his name is silent, so I also want to point that out. Secondly, because a lot of people, and I'm not joking, a lot, in fact, I don't even know how many people call him Chirox, but a lot. A lot of people call him Chirox, however, that pronunciation is incorrect. His real pronunciation is Kirox. And to have proof, go to biosector01.com and you'll have proof. But in other words, that's how his name is truly pronounced. It's Kirox, not Chirox. Okay? Okay, good. Now that's all I wanted to point out. Now let's begin the review. Like the previous sets, we will once again do his mask. The Mask of Silence, which, yeah, makes an opponent both blind, actually no, not blind, both deaf and unable to talk, really. So yeah, that's what it really does. It doesn't make them blind, but yeah. Now then, his mask does look cool to my opinion. It actually looks a lot, well, I guess Antraz's mask is also pretty cool, but I think his mask looks a little cooler, because I just really like how it looks. The eyes, I really like how the eyes are detailed. They make him look a lot meaner and eviler. So yeah, I am gonna say that is a very good, that's a very good idea. I really like how his mask looks. Although the teeth, which I believe these are the teeth, are like not a part of his mouth. They're more like a part of his, well, like, I don't know, part of his like cheeks or chin or something like that. So that's a little strange in my opinion, because the teeth aren't really part of the mask's mouth. So I find that very weird. But despite that, it still looks pretty cool. Now then, there's something very noticeable about Kirox's body, about his lower hip, as a matter of fact. Unlike Antraz, he actually does have armor on this part, because Antraz, I recently realized that he didn't have that much armor, so yeah. Kirox's body does look slightly cooler. I also kind of like the very unique idea as to how his arms function. First off, this is what he's like in his standard form, when he's, you know, just like walking and standing on the ground. However, in his flight form, his arms can extend. Now that is a very cool feature to my opinion. However, this is naturally only done when he's flying, although I'm pretty sure he can use it when he fights the toas and stuff, so I'm pretty sure he can also do that, but it's been known to be, yeah, function when he's flying. When he's like this is normally when he's walking. Also, his weapons, which are also known as the hook blades, yeah, they look pretty cool. For like weapons, and these tools have also been used for like wings, so yeah, that's pretty creative. So yeah. I also kind of like how his like leg armors were designed. In fact, his leg armors design was one of the reasons why, with these by the way, or what I'm pointing at, like one of the reasons why my mock Kylord's leg designs are like that, because I just think they look cool like that. So yeah. It's also very interesting that they're actually using Ordica legs for Makuta Kirox, because that is something we really don't see that much. Since yeah, they really don't see. I also find it very interesting that they actually use Matoran feet as Kirox's talons, or his feet, or whatever. So yeah, that's also very cool. But the downside of that is that they make his feet look a lot smaller. If you take a closer look, they don't look very big, unlike Antraz's or any of the other Makutas. So yeah, that's kind of the downside. But despite that, he's pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, now that we've done Makuta Kirox, now let's do his Shadow Matoran partner, Kirop. Well, here's Kirop, the former leader of the Amatorans, now, well, Shadow Matoran. Okay, so let's take a closer look at him. Now then, his mask is, for starters, his mask actually looks slightly like Kirox's. However, I kind of realized that with Antraz and Radiac, well, a very long while back. But yeah, just think his mask looks a little, but despite that, it also looks pretty cool. I still find it very unusual that the teeth are like at the bottom of the mask and not part of its mouth, so I still have issues with that, but despite that, he's pretty cool. I also like how they use the unique coloring scheme of his arms and feet. In fact, these are like the only Shadow Matoran feet, well, other than Voltrez's, that are not black. They're gray. So I find that very creative. I also kind of like, well, I kind of like how he looks. Just like his arms and legs. He's actually a lot bigger than most of the Shadow Matorans, actually. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, unlike Reddy, of course, as you can tell, he has both feet and hands. And he uses these weapons. These little, these little weapons, of course. He also, like Radiac, has these little bat wings that raise the shark, which I also think were very cool with the design, especially with the coloring scheme, since Kirop's black. Although there is one slight thing that kind of messes up the coloring scheme. The fact that his bottom mask is silver. I mean, it matches the weapons, but not the body very much. So that's a little annoying. But despite that, meh. Okay, so now let's see how Chirox and Kirop look when they're connected. Well, this is how Chirox and Kirop look when they're connected. And yeah, like Antraz, yeah, not very, well, I guess when they're flying they look pretty good, but when they're standing, not too good. I mean, actually this pose looks pretty cool actually, but in other poses, yeah, not so special. So, yeah, that's the problem. I just don't like how they look like when they're standing when Chirox and Antraz are with Radiac and Kirop. I mean, they have to like bend like this, yeah, you can tell. So yeah, they have to like bend. That's very annoying to my opinion, but despite that, I guess he looks pretty cool in this pose, so yeah, I guess I did a good job with this, but despite that, he actually doesn't look all that cool when he's connected to Kirop. He's fun to play with when they're flying, but when they're like this, not much. Now let's see how they look like disconnected. This is how Chirox and Kirop look when they're disconnected, and I find this a lot more comfortable since, you know, you don't have to be bending, Chirox doesn't have to be bending down like he was recently. So okay, now it's time for the grade. I'm gonna give Chirox, well, I'm gonna give him an A because he's my favorite Makuta. Now, I would give him an A+, but there is one very annoying detail that I really kind of dislike. Or it's not very annoying, it's not the biggest thing, otherwise I would have given him in the first place. But there is one thing I want to point out. His claws. I mean, look at them. These are supposed to be his claws. These, first off, let me take off the, this is his claw, by the way, or his hand, in other words. I mean, look at them. They use, like, really smart pieces. They use, like, the Hordika heads for them, so I did not find that very creative. They should have been a lot bigger. They should have been, like, at least, like, well, Antraz's, I guess, or even Mutrin's. His claws were very big, but yeah, Kirox's, I really don't like his hand. I don't have a really big problem. I'm just saying it's a little annoying that Lego used the Hordika heads as his hand. But despite that, I still think he looks cool. When he's carrying them, he looks really cool, in my opinion. So I am still giving him an A and stuff. Kirop, I'm gonna give him a B because while he does look pretty cool, he does, like Solex, his arms and legs look the same, and the mask doesn't really help his coloring scheme a lot, other than his weapons. So yeah. Despite that though, he does look pretty cool. And now, the question is, should you buy him? First off, Chirox. I'm gonna say yes, because I really do think he's fun to play with. And yeah, he's a very fun set to play with, to my opinion. As for Kirop, I'm gonna say maybe. Because, yeah, maybe. Because he's pretty fun to play with, but he just looks too standard. Like, you know, not that fun. But yeah, that's just my opinion, like I said, not yours, just mine, but yeah. So anyways, that was my review of the 2008 set 4, and stay tuned for the next one where I'll be interviewing Pohatu and Phota.